as the Heat take the 1-0 lead in this series. Tyler Herro led the way with 25 points and dished 7 assists as well, and that was fun to watch. Well, he was fun to watch the entirety of the game.
Well, we knew Philly was coming in really shorthanded, so they could be a very tough.
But Tyler
tough game.
Herro was fun to watch.
Tyler Herro was very fun to watch. He had a very good game.
Oh, he's Britton Haywood, by the way.
Thank you very much.
I realized we changed over because you weren't here earlier.
No, I was not.
Neither was I. Welcome in to our NBA TV studios. We're going to be with you for the next several hours for all of the coach and player press conferences, not just after this game, but after our late game on TNT as well. Let's talk a little bit about, though, what made the Heat so successful in this game, apart from the reality that the Sixers are limited.
Well, when you look at the fact that Heat defense is still good, they limited what the Sixers were able to do from a three-point standpoint. The Sixers they're going to have to be able to hit a lot of threes with Embiid not playing. James Harden also didn't have that vintage type of James Harden, Houston type of game, and he's going to have to turn back the clock, at least with Embiid out, and he's going to have to be that big-time James Harden. So if you can limit James Harden, limit their amount of threes, and win the battle in the paint, which Miami should do with Embiid out, it's going to be very hard for the 76ers to win ball games until he gets back.
We know very little about Joel Embiid's status moving forward at this point. It was, though, the lowest scoring total for Harden in a postseason game since June of 2021 against what we ultimately knew would become the reigning champion, Milwaukee Bucks. What do you need to see from him if, in fact, Embiid is sidelined or limited moving forward?
Well, if Embiid's able to come back, that changes everything. You're saying, what do I need to see from Embiid?
From Harden.
Oh, from Harden. I didn't hear you. What I'm trying to see from Harden, I'm going to
listen.
I'm listening.
If you're not going to check the emails, the least you can do.
Hey, listen, I'm listening. I just didn't hear you. I had somebody in my ear. But you see James Harden right here creating space, able to knock down that shot. That's old school vintage James Harden. Get to the step back. Now he comes off a screen, another screen. Bam, being aggressive. Hand in his face doesn't really matter. He's able to knock down that jumper. I like the energy that Harden had early on in this ball game. As you see him right here, nice little Euro step, get down the lane. That's the James Harden that they need to see, but they're going to need that all game long. James Harden is going to have to be aggressive, looking for his shot. Right here, okay, you see two defenders, don't matter. Go right by him, create a problem. Get into your handle. That's what James Harden is known for doing. Creating that handle. Next thing you know, drive the lane. Find a nice assist right there, nice dish as he throws the dunk to DeAndre Jordan. That's what James has to do. He has to be ultra aggressive. And with Embiid out, he has to be ultra aggressive at all times. He has to be pushing the envelope. James Harden, when he was in Houston, was one of those guys that no matter what, he was always in attack mode, go mode. Sometimes that led to 40 points. Sometimes that led to 20 assists. At the end of the day, he's going to have to be that at least for a couple of games.
Tobias Harris, though, did help lead this offense. What did you like seeing from him? 27 in this game.
I love his efficiency. I love the fact that he was able to step up and make shots. I love that he was aggressive. And that's what you have to do. When you're down somebody as good as Embiid, a guy that might be the MVP of this league, it's not going to be just James. Even though I'm saying James Harden has to step up, it's going to be Tobias Harris. It's going to be a guy like Maxey. So when you see those guys stepping up the way Tobias did, 11 of 18 being efficient, that's something very positive that Philly can take moving forward. They can take that into the next game and look where Tobias was effective at, and then at the same time try to replicate that in game 2.
As teams, the Heat dominated nearly every major statistical category as they take the 1-0 lead. Here's Doc Rivers.
27 of them were absolutely draw up great looks. I still didn't like how we played, though. I didn't like how we moved the ball. I thought we passed late tonight. Just from my role, I have to watch the video. I thought the physicality affected us tonight. I thought they got into us, and that had an impact on us. But I really did. I just thought there were too many times when we put the ball on the floor, the pass was there, and then we take that extra dribble, and then by the time we passed it, they got there. So that's what I saw visually. I liked how we fought back, got back in it at halftime. I liked how we came out at the beginning of the third quarter, had great energy, missed a couple wide open shots in that stretch where we could have stretched the lead. And then I didn't like the rest of the game.
What went into the decision to start DeAndre and kind of how you handled the center rotation?
We just felt.
We're having a couple of technical issues with the audio there, so as soon as we get that back, we will get back. So let's talk a little bit more. We could talk about what the Sixers need to do differently, but realistically, as I said before Doc started talking, the Heat as a team dominated nearly every major statistical category. So what is it that could carry over into Game 2 for them to take a commanding 2-0 series lead?
Well, what can carry over is what they were able to do in the paint, and they got 52 points in the paint. They were able to win that battle. When you look at the fact they were able to win the rebounding battle, and Bam Adebayo was also big time in this game as well. Those are things you have to take advantage of. If Embiid's not in there, why shouldn't Miami win the rebounding battle? If Embiid's not in there, why shouldn't they win the points in the paint? And why shouldn't Bam Adebayo continue to thrive and be successful inside? If you're the Miami Heat, you did everything you were supposed to do with Joel Embiid out. You dominated the areas where Joel Embiid normally is. You took advantage of the fact that he's not there, and Bam Adebayo took advantage of his matchup, and I think that can definitely carry over into Game 2.
Yeah, what did you like about what you saw from Bam? 24 and 12, pretty dominant inside.
I just like Bam. He's the new age big. If you don't have a Joel Embiid or a Jokic, you want a guy like Bam Adebayo that can do a little bit of everything. Hit a mid-range jumper, good free throw shooter, pick and roll guy, get out in transition, rebound, finish, activate, get the ball to the weak side. If you don't have that guy that's a dominating block presence, you kind of want your center to play like
block president. We could call
yeah,
him
you
that.
could call. We could call Bam the block president after the way he played tonight.
Like
but
that.
if you're not going to be a block presence, you need to be a guy like Bam Adebayo that can do multiple things, and that's what makes his game so special and so important. There's multiple levels to it. Look, you see him right there. He's improved his offense every single year. Nice mid-range jumper. Now he's getting on the glass. We know he's been able to do that ever since he came out of Kentucky. Throw it up top, get the lob. He's a pick and roll threat. I mean, that's just what makes Bam so good. If he rolls to the basket, he can finish. If you try to adjust to him early, that activates the weak side. And then at the same time, if he catches it, he's good enough to make a play for himself in space, whether that's getting a turnaround jumper off, a jump hook, or get fouled. He's a good free throw shooter. So I liked how Bam played tonight. They're going to need more of it, and he has to continue to dominate that matchup. If there's no Embiid in there, don't settle or don't come out with the wrong mentality. Come out with the mentality to do business every single night until the big fella's back.
And it's got to be encouraging if you are the Heat, knowing that you've got a couple of others that could lead you in scoring on any given night, and knowing that you've got a guy like Jimmy Butler who can give you 20, who can give you 30, who can give you 40, who only in this win gave you 15 on 31% shooting.
Yeah, and the thing about this Miami Heat team is that they're built for different guys to step up because they had so many injuries this year. This Miami Heat team had injury after injury, as we see Jimmy come off right there. We know what Jimmy Butler can do. He's the type of guy that if he's in the corner, he can knock down that jumper. He can get into the mid-range. He can post up. He gets out in transition. He can be a playmaker for himself and others. We know what he brings to the table. But it's also other guys, as we saw in their last series. No Jimmy Butler for the closeout game against the Hawks. No Kyle Lowry. Who steps up? Victor Oladipo. You know, we saw Matt Strauss step up, have some big games. Gabe Vincent. They've have other guys on their bench that are ready to step up, and their coaching staff is going to have confidence in them because they've seen them all season long when they were forced to play certain guys with some of these lineups when they were injury riddled.
What then made the difference for Tyler Herro here? Because he averaged 13 and 4 in that series against the Hawks, and he was significantly over that mark in this Game 1 against the Sixers with 25 and 7.
Well, the first thing is opportunity. When you look at a guy, he was able to take 17 shots tonight. He take advantage of the fact that, hey, there's no Kyle Lowry. That might mean a little bit more for me. Then at the same time, he was 4 of 6 from 3, got some really good looks. And we know he's one of the best players in this league coming off the bench. He's just one of those guys that on a different night, he can get red hot. And tonight was one of those nights. He came off, everything was looking good to him. As you see, Victor Oladipo finding Herro out there in transition, always good when scorers get easy layups and free throws. And when you give a guy like Tyler Herro some of those easy shots like that, that means the basket starts looking big for him. He gets a couple layups, next thing you know, the jumper starts falling, the step back starts falling, and that's when you're really in trouble because we know what type of player he is. He's very confident. He plays with an edge on his shoulder. You remember that meme from a couple years ago with the snarl?
Yeah.
Like that best defines his game. Sometimes he just comes out there with that snarl, and he just looks to be aggressive, and that's what he was tonight. And he understands when it's his night, it's time to step it up. So sometimes you come out there, you hit a couple shots early, and you're like, yeah, I'm feeling good tonight. And anytime he feels like that, he's going to continue to be aggressive because that's his role. His role is to bring that instant offense and that pop off the bench.
The Heat have now won 6 of their last 7, just overall games against the Sixers in Miami. What kind of home court advantage does this team have?
Oh, man, Miami has the best home court advantage.
That's why I asked.
And listen, they have a home court advantage over a lot of teams. I'm going to tell you, and listen, they do say South Beach is undefeated.
It is.
And so, but just in general, when you look out there and you're playing at home, There might be some distractions in Miami. Some
Right.
guys may have had a good night the night before. That always can play.
Even on a Monday.
Hey, oh, definitely on a Monday. You know what? Live on Sunday. hey,
Right.
now, I'm not saying I've ever been to any of those establishments.
We just know about it. It's online.
I haven't been.
It's on the World Wide Web.
I was in my room reading my Bible when I played.
Good for
but,
you.
Yes, yeah, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and
why
John.
you're here now.
Yes, hallelujah. But what I am saying is that Miami does have that home court advantage, and they will thrive off that crowd. It's a late arriving crowd. But when they get there, they get really loud, they get turned on, and they get behind their team.
Well, it is also not just any Monday. It is the first Monday in May, which means that the Met Gala is also taking place as these games are taking place.